America, wake up, America, wake up!
You know, for the longest time, or not for the longest time, but for a period of time, I had forgotten my experiences. You know, the application of technique in confrontation and the confrontations that I've been in general, whether I was successful in them or defeated in them. You know what I mean? I was absent-minded of my own ability. You know, it was almost like my memory was wiped and I didn't acknowledge that I had a measure of skill. You know, it's like I said before, like, had I performed the way I did that day in that Supermax hospital, Oak Ridge, and went through 8 UK or opponents, I'd have a high-ranking degree black belt in the art of Aikido. But that's neither here nor there because it wasn't done in a dojo. It wasn't done under the eyes of an instructor or a shihan or a sensei. You know what I mean? So it went to naught. But that's beside the point. I don't even care about the recognition at this point. At this point, I was just like, and I asked myself repeatedly, why did I forget the extent of my own ability? Because I remember one day after testing in the Komatsu dojo, this is like basically just after Sensei got his official name for the dojo, and we were on Talbot Street still, and my UK for the examination, he is now a sensei with his own dojo, Sensei Jason LaFontaine, and I respect him because he had it from the very beginning. When he started training, he excelled. And his understanding was so high that to speak to him was just like, wow, like, you got this mastered. And I was in awe of his skill and the level of his application of technique. And that day after the examination, his father came into the change room, or like in the back of the dojo, because like we didn't really have a change room. It was like a makeshift stall or whatever, but like whatever, that's irrelevant. But the point was is that he basically said that the reason why Jay was excelling in the art so quickly is because he had a background in martial arts from the day he was born, right? Because his father was a black belt in karate. So he had put Jason in karate from a very young age, maybe like 4 or 5. And he had been practicing for, 20, 25 years. You know what I mean? And when he said that, it was during that period of time that I had forgotten everything I had been through. It was almost as if I didn't consider myself worthy of possessing skill. I didn't. And another thing that was strange was I had used Aikido in actual confrontation on multiple occasions and was successful. But when I started formal training, I couldn't make that link anymore. It was as if everything became wishy-washy and impractical because of the inconfidence within myself. You know, that like I'm not doing it right, or I have no knowledge of what I'm doing, and rah 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 rah, on the basis of me forgetting that I had been through so much and had already used the art in actual confrontation. And that's the point I keep driving home. So what reawoke my faith in the art of Aikido was a book that was translated by two Shimee'S, Christopher Johnston and Jacques Payette. I believe they're both Shimee'S. And they translated the headmaster of the Yoshinkan Aikido style, Gozo Shioda. And in that book, Gozo Shioda detailed that he used Aikido to fight Yakuza gang members in Japan in like the early 1930s, maybe the 1940s. I can't remember exactly. And I was like, well, if he was using it in actual confrontations and fights, then it must be applicable. And mind you, at this time, I still didn't acknowledge or consider or remember that I had used Aikido in the past in actual confrontations. I keep going back to this point of me not remembering, considering, or acknowledging, because that's what was stopping my technique from developing the way it has now. Because once I remembered that I had used Aikido, I then seen everything in a new light. It was like, wow, right? Like just today, I was in the backyard with one of the guys, and he's like, how does Aikido work? Like, what would you do if I grabbed your wrist and pulled? So I said, okay, well, here, grab my wrist, and then he pulled, and I basically put him in a Irimi Nage type of throw, and he almost fell over, and I barely did anything except place my body in the right position as per the technique, and he lost his balance and stumbled a couple of feet away. And every time I exercise technique or movement, I enter into the state of samadhi, no thought. It's as Gozo Shioda said about Kokyu power. It is emptiness, a focused psychological state of mind where the techniques arise from nothingness. They manifest from an essence that cannot be explained. And the reason why it cannot be explained is because it is not in tune with the intellect. It surpasses that. And that's why I had failed so long to re-grasp the art of Aikido, because I was too busy relying on my intellect. And that was like a sort of sickness, you know? I have to say that at the end of the day, intellect, yes, is powerful, but it has its limitations. And if you wish to exceed limits, then you have to re-enter into that instinctual level of intuition. Now, what's better than intuition is the combination of intellect with intuition, you know? And I say that because this might sound stupid, because it's a concept that I heard in an anime series called Samurai Champloo. And there was this assassin or henchman of the shogunate, and his nickname was the Hand of God. And he said to one of his opponents that in order to master the martial arts, you must make use of your intellect. And he was talking to this opponent of his as they were fencing. And he said that, you know, his opponent utilizes, you know, erratic movement and random, you know, technique to make sure that his opponent cannot predict his movements. You see what I'm saying? And he said, you know, that's instinctual. That's you know, your raw instincts, but you have to make use of the intellect in martial arts. So, you know, he said that his technique was good, but without intellect, it wouldn't reach the apex. But intellect alone isn't sufficient, and nor is intuition alone sufficient. There needs to be understanding of both. And with that understanding, there needs to be confidence. You know, if there's no confidence behind anything you do, then you lessen the chance for success to transpire.